So, there's this huge, kind of intimidating word that helps explain why everything feels so expensive and unstable right now. That word is hyper-financialization. But don't worry, it's not as complicated as it sounds. Imagine a simple economy like a farmer's market. People grow food, people make things, people sell them to each other. The value is in the actual stuff: tomatoes, bread, handcrafted chairs. The main goal is to produce and trade real, tangible goods that people need and use. That's a product-based economy. For a long time, that was mostly how things worked. Instead of just buying and selling tomatoes, people start betting on the future price of tomatoes. They create complicated financial products like tomato futures, collateralized tomato obligations. Suddenly, the goal isn't just to grow the best tomato, it's to make the most money from the idea of tomatoes. The focus shifts from the real-world thing to the abstract financial game built around it. When it goes into overdrive, that's hyper-financialization. This shift changes everything, often in ways we don't immediately see. Think about a hospital. Its primary purpose should be to make sick people healthy. So how does this big, abstract idea of hyper-financialization actually affect your life? Well, it's the reason so many young people feel like they're playing life on an expert difficulty setting that they never chose. Let's start with education. A college degree used to be seen as a public good, an investment society made to create skilled citizens. Now it's treated as a personal financial product. To pay for it, you are encouraged to take on massive student loans. These loans are then bundled up and sold to investors. Your debt becomes someone else's asset, a reliable stream of income for them. Then you graduate, armed with that expensive degree, and you need a place to live. But housing has also been financialized. In many cities, huge investment firms buy up thousands of single-family homes and apartment buildings. Their goal isn't to provide stable, affordable housing for communities, it's to extract the maximum possible rent and watch the property values soar. They use algorithms to set rent prices, pushing them ever higher. This turns a basic human need, shelter, into a competitive financial asset, pricing out regular people, especially young people just starting their careers, and making it nearly impossible to save up for a down payment. Okay, so you need a job to pay for that student debt and that crazy high rent. The gig economy is a perfect example of financialization at work. Companies rebrand traditional employment as a gig or a side hustle. This allows them to avoid paying for things like health insurance, paid sick leave, retirement benefits. They shift all the risk onto you, the worker, while presenting it as flexibility and being your own boss. Each of these things, student debt, unaffordable housing, precarious work, is a symptom of the same underlying problem. Let's talk about the American dream. For generations it was a pretty straightforward, if not always attainable, promise. If you work hard, play by the rules, get a good education, you can build a stable life for yourself. It promised a direct, reliable connection between effort and reward. For Gen Z and the emerging Gen Alpha, that promise feels like a myth from a distant past. The latter doesn't just seem wobbly, it feels like half the rungs are missing, and the ones that are left are on fire. The direct link between hard work and stability has been severed. You can work 2 jobs, have a college degree, and still be unable to afford a 1-bedroom apartment in the city where those jobs are located. You can do everything right, and still find yourself buried under a mountain of debt that will follow you for decades. This disconnect isn't just an economic problem, it's a profound psychological one. When a society constantly tells you that success is a result of individual effort, but the system is rigged in a way that makes that success nearly impossible, it creates a massive amount of anxiety, cynicism, and despair. It makes you feel like a personal failure. But it is not a personal failure, it is a systemic one. The feeling of being doomed comes from seeing the vast canyon between the dream you were told to chase and the reality you have to navigate every single day. The old benchmarks of success, the house, the steady job, the comfortable retirement, are no longer realistic for many. That is precisely what hyper-financialization has eroded. So if the system is the problem, how do we fix it? The sheer scale can feel overwhelming, a sense of powerlessness. But here's the thing about human systems. Humans made them. Humans can change them. Hope is not a passive emotion. On a large scale, advocate for bold policy changes. Demand regulations to curb speculative behavior by large investment firms in housing. Favor individual home buyers over corporate landlords. Explore student loan forgiveness. Reinvest in tuition-free or low-cost public universities. Strengthen labor laws so gig workers get rights and protections. Change also grows from the ground up in our communities. Support and create models outside the hyper-financialized mainstream. Worker-owned co-ops. Employees are owners, profits shared, decisions democratic. Support local credit unions instead of massive national banks. Use your purchasing power to back humane businesses and politicians. Never underestimate the power of small actions. Have these conversations with friends, with your family, with your teachers. Educate yourself and others about how these systems work. Use your voice, use your vote. Change is slow, like a giant ship turning in the ocean. But every conversation, every vote, every act of solidarity is a push on the rudder. You are not doomed. You are the architects of what comes next.